Good morning and welcome to this week's episode of God's Grace for Single Mothers. Today we will be continuing You're Not Poor and You're Not Scum. So today will be part two. I thank you for joining me, single moms. How are you doing? I hope all is well with you, and I hope you are being encouraged by our broadcast. If you're not a single mother, I want to encourage you to please share these videos with single moms that you know. Share them in your communities because there may be single mothers there who will be blessed by it. And always, please just help us share these videos because we want to encourage single mothers. Single moms do not really have great support. So every little thing we do to bring some bright spots into their lives is very helpful. Before I continue, I want to remind you about a 30-day challenge, 30 days to a better me. I am still working on my first challenge, which is housekeeping, and which I'm doing to help me be on top of my housekeeping duties, which tends to go under the radar when I get very busy. These 30-day challenges are very good for us single moms because they take away the pressure of the things we have to do. We tend to it makes us able to approach them gradually rather than all at one time. And the good thing about the 30-day challenge is it never has to end. You can see how much you've done in the first 30 days. You keep up with it to the next 30 days. And then guess what? Last week I told you about doing simultaneous 30-day challenges. As soon as you have made headway with one challenge, it's okay and possible to add another challenge to it. And we're able to do this because we're simultaneously doing a whole lot of things anyway, and this prevents us from putting off important things in our lives, waiting for that one perfect day when you're going to do it, because that one perfect day is never going to come. So the only way to get ahead is make sure we're doing a little bit every day concerning those things that matter to us. And so like I shared last week, I added a new 30-day challenge, which for me is picking up my 9-year-old book or 10-year-old book and getting started. So last week what I did was this. I printed out my first 3 chapters because remember, the reason I have not let go is because I am finicky about editing, want everything to be perfect. Well, I'm not going to get it done in one day. So I print out the first 3 chapters. I contacted the person I need to proofread it, my professor, and we have set a date when she's going to get that. So guess what? I got 2 30 days challenge to a better me going right now. And I encourage you and challenge you to please get yours started. Okay, so let's get started. Today's topic is you're not poor and you're not scum. Last week I shared with you from the scriptures how children are a gift from God and they are treasures deposited. So that's why you see the whole world is developing. It's because of the treasures that God has deposited in each of us. And as we develop those treasures, then the world becomes a better place. Then there's productivity. Then there is progress. And single moms, you really need to watch it, that you are not allowing yourself believe the lie that because there's not a man in there, somehow your children are not going to make it. That's a lie, because your children have been invested from birth by God with some qualities, with some gifts, with some talents. They are like raw gold, and you are the miner. You're the one to mine and bring them up. Make that gold appear. So please take that task seriously. There are very specific areas of mining that all human beings need. And we shared that last week. Education, skills and training, spirituality, and values. Make sure you're consistently and constantly developing those in your children's life and you're making those a priority. So the second thing I want to share with you today comes from Psalm 37 verse 25. And this is what it says. It says, I have been young and now I am old, but I have never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed beg for bread. So here, the first part of you're not poor, you're not scum, which we did last week, was revealing to you, having you to look within yourself, within your children, which is that gift that God has put in them, and what are your responsibilities towards developing them. The second thing we're looking at today is what is God's role? What is God's responsibility to you? Because it is important for us as human beings to recognize that God has responsibility towards us, and God doesn't shirk his responsibilities. Jesus told us as much when he taught us that verse, which we now turn into our favorite song, his eyes on the sparrow. Jesus taught us that God is so committed to his creation, every single one of his creation, to the smallest thing, that he does not shirk his responsibilities. So one, we have a responsibility to mine the gold, to take care of the gold, because this is what our God has created us to do. That's our responsibility. But then the second part of recognizing that you are well placed, you are not poor, is that God has responsibility towards you, and he is going to fulfill them. And so the psalmist says, in all his existence, in all the years he has lived, he has never seen God abandon anybody. And this is the truth. I myself, I have been a single mother for 14 years plus. I can tell you for a fact that God has never abandoned us. Yes, in some ways we're limited, but we don't lack. Limitations, that's our part. Our human limitations are not God's limitations. So regardless of how limited we are as human beings, it doesn't mean that we will not have access to the things we need. Because we have a God who has the responsibility of caring for his creation. So I want you to go home. I want you to take that verse. I want you to read it every single day. And you're going to find out that it brings joy to your heart. It brings encouragement. It gives hope. It takes away the stress. It encourages you. It helps you look forward to the future. You don't have to be depressed. You don't have to be sad about any issue regarding you or your children's well-being, because you'll remember that there is a God who is faithful and has never, since the creation of the world, abandoned a person who serves him or abandons any of his creations. So it is well with you. So next week, join me and we will be talking about the part of you are not scum. That will be the concluding portion of you're not poor and you're not scum. Thanks for watching. Please share this with the people in your community, the single moms in your community, and like our page, leave your comments, tell us how you're doing with your challenges, leave questions. We'll be happy to get back to you. And until next week, Tuesday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 p.m. GMT, when we have the concluding part of You're Not Poor and You're Not Scum. God bless you.